have I told you the story of what I think the new curl is?
Mm-mm.
Weave is the new Jheri curl.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Right? So the curl was a really practical style that could have been perfected. It didn't have to get messy and gross, but there was a way to make the curl not be so wet. There was a way to make the curl, people didn't have to be, it's like hilarious to me to think about it, that product manufacturers had the technology and had the resources to make a better product, but didn't ever push that envelope because consumers were buying the flawed product and kept buying the flawed product and found other solutions around how to make the flawed product work. So one of the things with the curl is it had to be wet all the time. So somebody started manufacturing colored these kind of caps, and people would be out in the street in shower caps, different color shower caps to keep their curls. Can you imagine that?
No, that's too much.
People would be out in public with different colored shower caps on to protect their curl. Isn't that insanity? All for the Jheri curl. Because it was for the first time, people's hair was growing. Like they had never experienced growth because for the first time their hair was getting wet. For the first time it was wet.
All the time.
All the time. And that alone was like, it grew, like my hair grew, my hair grew. And it was like a drug. So then enter, Hollywood at one point just shaming. That's it. The curl people would still be walking around with curls if there had not been a public shaming of the ridiculousness of it.
And weave is the complete opposite.
What do you mean?
Of having a moisturized scalp.
Well, right. Well, I don't think it's a moisture thing. I think it's a dirty thing. Like, so your hair, if you have a weave and you get your hair washed, it actually does stay damp in there. The hair is kind of mildewed.
Oh.
Yeah, it's moist. That's why it smells like that. When you ever been around when somebody takes a weave down, it smells like you take off a cast because it's wet and dank, and it is wet. It's gross. But it's like the curl in the sense that people have shut their brains off, and they're so caught up in the fix that they've stopped thinking my hair is dirty all the time. Like my hair stinks. Like it stinks for real. It smells nasty.
It's not an illusion.
It's not an illusion. I gotta do this to scratch my head so that now my daughter,
the pat is so real.
It's so real. And people don't. So my daughter came home and she was doing this. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, my head itches. I was like, scratch it. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, people do this because they can't scratch their head. Because they have a weave, they have a wig sewn on top of their head, and they can't do this. So they're doing this, and that has become culturally the norm.
The pat, it's real, it's trademarked.
Right?
Now.
So think of all the crazy that is surrounding this hairstyle. My hair stinks. My scalp is filthy, so it itches because it is molded, literally, right? Moldy, nasty, moldy. So I gotta scratch, but I can't. So I gotta do this publicly. I gotta sit at my desk. I gotta do this. And that's like normal, right? And my girls watch me do this. You know what I mean? My kids grow up, my daughters grow up seeing this, and that seems normal, right? And it's gonna, and forget that I spent all of my money to get it done. I spent all of my money to get it done. With a company and within a market where none of the dollars come to us. None. So there's a crazy around the weave. And, by the way, it's not organic to our look. So it's like I'm dressed up as somebody that I'm not. Right? So I'm sewing somebody else's hair on so that I can look like me. Who do I look like? Right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Right. And so when Hollywood, when a voice, a megaphone, actually, like with Coming to America single-handedly took out the curl. Right? It did. Right? That and what was the other one? Do the Jheri curl. Shh. What was that one?
I'm gonna get you sucker.
I'm gonna get you sucker. That's it. But those two did it. And when there's a movie, when there's a film, when there's something, somebody with a loud enough megaphone says, you're sewing somebody else's hair on your head so that you look kind of like, not you, but somebody else kind of, with hair that's insanely long. Why? It's coming. You heard it here first. All of a sudden, it's something everybody's doing to people who are like denying that they ever did it. Like people will say now, oh, I had a curl once. It's like, you know, and everybody remembers, yeah, I did. I had a curl. And it's like you laugh about it and you're embarrassed because you did have a curl. Right? So everybody's gonna think back and like, yeah, I had a weave. I did that once.